Ramesh, everything is fine?
Good, sir. No problem.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
ಹೊಸ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಹಳೆ ಆಫೀಸ್.
No, we have moved to this Shivapura, Yelamaggad. That
Oh,
is, Jarelli place is closed completely. Now
ಹಾ.
we are in here, Shivapura, Arkavati campus.
ಇವತ್ತು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಸರ್ 2-3 ಸರಿ.
Please do come, all of you visit, please visit.
We have
I have invited Professor Ayappan to visit us. He said that sometime, I met him in Purna. Whether day I had gone for lecture. So he was there as a chief guest. That's how he called me to participate in this event. Sir is joining. Professor Ayappan is joining.
No, sir. He has gone to Mysore
Okay, okay.
program in CFTRI. He has
Okay.
conveyed his greetings to you, sir.
Okay. Am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it is already.
After the session ends, you have to give 2 questions, sir, which should
Okay.
be small paragraph descriptive kind of answers.
Yes, yes.
The best answers will be selected from your end only, and they will be awarded cash prize, sir.
Okay, fine.
And I request all the students or teachers who have joined with us in this WebEx Cisco platform, you can right click on the icon of or photograph of the video of the speaker and click this on to move to the stage, so that you can parallelly see the professor and the presentation both at a time. Right click on the name of the speaker, move to stage. You can set the side by side screen will be visible for you. Ramesh sir, shall we start, sir?
Yeah, you can start. How many of them are there?
Sir, as of now in the WebEx Cisco platform, there are 3 people, and I need to check in the YouTube live streaming.
Please check. If gathering number is not good, we'll wait for 5-10 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So some of them will have a problem.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you please make the slideshow of that presentation, sir?
Can you see me now?
That slideshow, sir. Presentation slide.
I'll make it. So how many of them have joined?
Sir, 25 plus joining, sir.
25 plus.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then we can start. No problem because not okay.
Yes.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Now fine.
Okay.
Ramesh, sir, shall we start, sir?
Please start, Madi. Please, sir, my colleague Mr. Umesh will introduce your achievements to the students so that they will be inspired to take up science as a career in future. Over to you, Mr. Umesh.
Yes.
Please
Thank you,
introduce.
sir. First and foremost, I would like to thank our today's speaker, Dr. Yelamaggad, sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering this session on behalf of the Science Talent Search program. Also, I would like to welcome our CEO, Dr. M. Ramesh, sir, and my colleagues, Degoda, Anthony Lobo, and all my other senior officers and other non-teaching technical staff in this webinar series. And last but not least, I would like to welcome our audience, students of PU students and teachers across the state who have joined us in this WebEx Cisco platform as well as in this YouTube channel. Before starting this session, I would like to give a brief introduction about Dr. Yelamaggad, sir. Dr. C.V. Yelamaggad, sir, has obtained his MSc and PhD degrees in organic chemistry from Karnataka University, Dharwad. He carried out his postdoctoral research for 3 years at the Department of Organic Chemistry, Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. Later, for a couple of years, he was a senior scientist in a R&D division of the private chemical industry. Then he moved over to the Department of Applied Chemistry, National CAO, Tung University, Taiwan, to carry out postdoctoral research. Ever since 1997, he has been a scientist at the Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences, (SENS), which is known as a SENS in Bangalore. His work focuses on soft matter, nanomaterials, nanosoft composites, and other closely related functional materials that are promising from the viewpoints of both fundamental research and advanced technology. Dr. Yelamaggad has made many noteworthy scientific contributions in the field of liquid crystals, with his journal research publications numbering over 220. Besides, he has 10 national and international patents to his credit. He has guided over 7 PhD students and 5 postdoctoral researchers and several project assistants. He has been the principal investigator for research projects sponsored by the government agencies. His research accomplishments have been well recognized at the national and international levels. He has presented over 300 United lectures and written reviews in journals and textbooks. He has been the referee to the vast majority of the leading international chemistry journals. As an invited scientist, he has visited several prestigious scientific institutions of USA, Canada, UK, Japan, Korea, Hungary, Bulgaria, and etc., both to share his ideas in various seminars and to have research collaborations. He has been the recipient of the state government's national and international awards, out of which namely I would like to mention here a few: Japanese government's JST Fellowship, Japanese government JSPS Fellowship, and Government of Karnataka Sir C.V. Raman Young Scientist Award for the year 2005, the Royal Society of London Visiting Fellowship for the year 2007, Material Research Society of India Medal 2019 from IISc Bangalore, Fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry Award from the Royal Society of Chemistry London, UK for the year 2019, and Silver Medal from Chirantana Rasayana Sanstha, Vidyasagar University, West Bengal in the year of 2020, and Chemical Research Society of India Medal from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in the year of 2021. Recently, he has been listed in the world ranking of top 2 scientists from India. He has been elected as an executive member of RSC Deccan section, and Dr. Yelamaggad has also been active in educating college students, teachers, and researchers about liquid crystal science and technology through his inspiring talks at refresher courses and science popularization programs. With this brief introduction, I now welcome once again Dr. Yelamaggad sir to deliver the session today. Over to you, sir.
Ramesh, for a very kind. At the outset, I would like to express a deep sense of gratitude to Karnataka Science and Technology Academy, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. I'm especially grateful to Professor Dr. S. Ayyappan, Chairman, KSTA, and other organizers, Sri Ramesh Ji, Gowda, and others, for giving this wonderful opportunity to participate in this mega event entitled Science Talent Search Program. As I already declared, today I'm going to talk to you on one of the fascinating aspects of science, namely, I'm going to talk to you about an amazing state of matter, life evolution, science, and technology. My name is Yelamaggad. I'm coming from Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences, Bangalore, and our center comes under the administrative control of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Well, I would like to say a few words to begin with. Our organization, when it was there in Janadi campus, and we began to work on soft material, especially we began to work on liquid crystals. In recent times, we have been also working on gels. Those can also be used for LCDs. The liquid crystal display, whatever you see, there we use organic molecules. They are generally organic molecules or metal containing molecules. But recently, we have put in efforts whether these organic molecules can be replaced with gels. In recent time, very recently, we have been trying to carry out a perfect nanomaterials, soft materials, so as to realize what are known as soft nanocomposites. I think most of the students are aware of the different types of properties that are exhibited by nanomaterials. You know that nanomaterials are ultrafine materials. They exhibit an n number of properties. On the other hand, likewise, we have liquid crystals. They also exhibit n number of properties. If I combine nanomaterials with the liquid crystals, one should be able to get what are known as soft nanocomposites, and they should be able to display the properties of both nanomaterials and liquid crystals. So there is a new approach that we have been following in recent times, and to some extent we have been very successful. Right. Now, as I mentioned to you, today I'm going to talk to you about one of the fascinating aspects of science. I think all of you are aware of the fact that matter exists in different state of matter. That is, right from the school days, you have been made aware of the existence of different states of matter. In other words, right from the morning to till evening, you go to the bed, you come across so many objects. And teachers have taught you how these objects or whatever you see in your day-to-day life can be distinguished or categorized. Okay, you all of you know that the matter, or you have been taught about the existence of different states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Right. Before that, I'm going to touch upon some fundamental aspect of matter, and then we'll start talking about liquid crystals. Okay. What is matter? I think all of you are aware of the fact that matter is everything that is around you. Well, that is very well known. And matter is an object that occupies space and has a mass. The matter can be visible or invisible. Matter is made up of atoms or group of atoms or molecules. Why matter then? In that case, why matter exists in different forms? I think it's very important to know that the correlation between the constituent atoms is different. Any matter you take that is made up of chemical species, these chemical species, how they interact with each other, how they talk to each other, how they are related to each other, that decides whether the given matter is given state of matter is a solid, liquid, gas, or plasma. Well, as I mentioned to you right from the beginning, right from your school days, you have been made aware of the existence of different states of matter, and they are solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the existence of another state of matter called liquid crystals. My dear friends, please note that liquid crystal is yet another state of matter. It has its own properties. I mean, all of you are aware of the fact that solid, liquid, gas, and plasma are four different states of matter. You are very familiar with that, and you know that solid have n number of properties. They have their own properties because it is a distinct state of matter. Likewise, liquid also have their own properties, and these properties cannot be compared with those of solids. Means solids behave in one way, liquid behave in one other way. So likewise, you have gas and plasma. Liquid crystal Likewise, liquid crystal represent yet another state of matter. It's a distinct state of matter. It is clearly a distinct state of matter. Although it exists between solids and liquids, but it represents yet another state of matter. Liquid crystal is said to be unique state of matter. Unlike other states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, and plasma, liquid crystal states are said to be unique state are put under a class of unique state of matter. Why? There are an n number of reasons that liquid crystals are categorized as unique state of matter. They have been called unique state of matter, unlike solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. First and foremost, first and foremost, they share the properties of both the solids and liquids. I hope you understood what I said. Liquid crystal being the intermediate state between solids and liquids, they exhibit the properties of both solids and liquids. They show some of the properties of solids. They also show some of the properties of liquids. So it means that liquid crystal being intermediate state between solid and liquid, they must possess the properties of both solids and liquids. Now, before I proceed, I would like to state that without the occurrence of liquid crystal, without the occurrence of this state of matter, none of us, not only us, anything that exists on this earth would have existed. It is because of the presence of liquid crystal state of matter on this earth, we all living beings, right from amoeba, right from unicellular system to bicellular, tricellular, and likewise we are all multicellular system. Right from unicellular system to multicellular system, liquid crystal play an important role. In other words, I would say that I'm very confident to say that being a scientist, I have all kinds of proof to say that liquid crystal are present in our body. In other words, I would like to put it in a very simple way. All of us are formed of liquid crystal. I shall repeat, all of us are formed of liquid crystals. They are called allotropic liquid crystals. In other words, we can say that we all are a bundle of liquid crystals. Well, ladies and gentlemen, apart from solid, liquid crystals, liquid, gas, and plasma, we have one more state of matter called Bose-Einstein condensate. Today, I'm here today to talk to you about liquid crystal. What are they? As I said, liquid crystal represent yet another state of matter, and it exists between solid and liquid. Now, in order to understand what are solids, what are liquid crystals technically, one need to understand the important properties of a solid liquid. Let us not worry about the gas. As I mentioned just now, right from beginning, we have been made aware of the existence of different states of matter. One is called solid, liquid, and gas. Okay. A solid upon melting, for example, if you take ice melts into liquid, that is water, and upon further heating, the water vaporizes to give you steam, and if you condense, it will get back the water, and upon freezing, you'll get back the ice. These phenomena are called phase transitions. That is, solid upon melting go to liquid, liquid upon evaporation goes to gas, gas upon condensation gives rise to liquid, and freezing gives back to the solid. So these are called phase transitions. Now, as I just mentioned, in order to understand what are liquid crystals technically, theoretically, let us understand the few properties of a given solid and liquid. Well, as all of you know that solid can be categorized into two: anisotropic solids, and crystals. Crystals can be further classified into two categories. They are called isotropic crystal and anisotropic crystals. As all of you are aware, let's talk about, we not understand what are liquid crystals. We'll try to understand the properties of crystals, especially anisotropic crystals. Well, as all of you are aware that we in the way. Okay. Uh, uh, the solids or crystals are made up of atoms, molecules, and they are rigidly held. That is, large intramolecular attractive forces hold them together. They have crystallographically distinct axes and interact with the light in a manner that is dependent upon the orientation of the crystal lattice with respect to the incident light. Please note, all students, please note that I'm talking about anisotropic crystals. Doesn't matter whether it's an anisotropic crystal or it's a amorphous solid. All of them have certain properties. That is, they possess position order, orientation order. They maintain their shape. They do not flow. They cannot be compressed. And the anisotropic crystal exhibit a very interesting property that's called birefringence. In order to understand what are liquid crystals in a simplified manner, I would like you to remember the two important properties of a given solid. That is, uh, they show refraction. You're all aware of the uh, refraction of light. Okay, what it is? It is a bending of light ray when it travels through an anisotropic bioluminescent medium such as crystal. Now, I have given example here. If you take calcium carbonate crystal, which is called anisotropic crystal, please note that I'm taking an example of anisotropic crystal. When an anisotropic crystal is made to, when you take pencil on top of which if you put a crystal, calcium carbonate crystal, it appears as if there are two images. In fact, you will see two images. One image originates from the ordinary beam of light, another beam originates because of the extraordinary beam of light. I'll put it in a very simplified manner. When a beam of light is made to pass through a birefringent material, the incident beam of light gets split into two. One is called ordinary beam of light and extraordinary beam of light. Now, interestingly, when you rotate the crystal in one direction, the image which is originated because of the ordinary beam of light that rotates with the direction which you rotate. I shall repeat. When you take a pencil, on top of which you put a crystal, calcium carbonate crystal, what happens is that you will see two images. One image is due to ordinary beam of light and the other image is due to extraordinary beam of light. Now, if I rotate the crystal in one direction, an image which originates because of the ordinary beam of light rotates with the angle which you rotate the crystal. So this is what is known as double refraction. I shall repeat. Crystals, especially anisotropic crystals, they show a very interesting property that is called double refraction or birefringence. When a beam of light is made to pass through anisotropic crystal, the incident beam of light gets split into two. One is called ordinary beam of light, and is called extraordinary beam of light. Okay, so this we have in the nature we have n number of anisotropic crystals. Their property is such that when an ordinary beam of light is made to pass through them, the incident beam of light gets split into two. One is called ordinary beam of light, and is called extraordinary beam of light. Please remember. So, what is to be noted here? Crystals, they do not flow. I shall repeat, the crystals do not flow, whereas the liquids, they flow. These are the two contradicting properties. At the same time, crystals which do not flow, but they show a phenomenon called double refraction or birefringence. So here you clearly try to see what is happening here. Crystals, they never flow, but they show what is known as double refraction. On the other hand, if you take liquid flow, but this double refraction phenomenon cannot be found in liquids. So you please remember, solids, they do not flow, but they show birefringence, that is double refraction. On the other hand, liquids, they flow, and therefore they do not show what is known as double refraction or birefringence. All right. Now, how to check whether the given system, whether the given solid, liquid, or gas, whatsoever, is birefringent or not? Now, we have to use polarizer. Okay. So, what is? I think you must have heard about a polarizer and polarization of light. What is ordinary light? Unpolarized ordinary light is nothing but unpolarized light. A light wave that is vibrating in more than one plane is referred to as unpolarized light. Okay, this is unpolarized, right? It can be any light. It can be sunlight, tube light, or whatever it is. You can take any light that is called unpolarized light or ordinary light. When an ordinary light is made to pass through a horizontal polarizer, the vibration of that gets confined to a single plane. This is called a plane polarized light, and the phenomenon is called the polarization of light. So, I shall repeat again, when an ordinary beam of light is made to pass through a polarizer, the vibration of light, I'm talking about only electrical vector, I'm not considering the magnetic vector at all. It is not necessary here. When an ordinary beam of light is made to pass through a polarizer, let's say horizontal polarizer, the vibration of light gets confined to a single plane, that's called plane polarized light. The light which comes out of a polarizer is called plane polarized light. Okay. The vibration of light wave gets confined to a single plane as can be shown here. Okay. Now we can have two states, either a vertical state or horizontal state. Okay. If I make a beam of light to pass through vertical polarizer, you see a vertical state of the beam of light. Okay. If I rotate it by 90 degrees, if I take a polarizer, vertical polarizer, and rotate it by 90 degrees, we do get horizontal state. So in plane polarized light, we have two states. One is vertical state or we have horizontal state. That depends upon whether you are using vertical polarizer or horizontal polarizer. If you use vertical polarizer, you will get vertical state. If you use horizontal polarizer, you will get horizontal state. I think most of you are aware of the fact that when you have polarizers that are not crossed, light would emerge. But on the other hand, when you take two polarizers and cross them, light will not emerge. For example, light passes through, that's called bright state. When you take one horizontal polarizer and another horizontal polarizer and put on top of them, light is seen here. Okay. When a vertical polarizer and horizontal polarizers are crossed, then light does not pass through. It's called dark state. So this is single polarizer. You have two polarizers here, and you have polarizers that are crossed. I shall repeat. When you take one vertical polarizer on top of which you put a vertical polarizer, the light is not emerged. It means that when you take two polarizers and cross them, you may have to listen to me very carefully. When you take two polarizers and cross them, light would not emerge. Okay. If you make them to be in the same direction, that is a vertical state. If you have one polarizer vertical state, another polarizer having the same vertical state, light would emerge as is shown here, horizontal state or the vertical state. So your light would emerge here. If you take two polarizers, light would not emerge because they are crossed. Okay. So if you take one horizontal polarizer on top of which you have to put a vertical polarizer, light will not come out. Now, how you suppose that if I between the two cross polarizer, if I put a crystal and strip of crystal, light would emerge. At the same time, you will get to see the color, a beautiful color. Now I shall repeat. When you take two polarizers, cross them. Between that, if you put a crystal, anisotropic crystal, okay, light would emerge. This is because these anisotropic crystals exhibit what is known as birefringence or double refraction. The light, what you see, it is because of the generation extraordinary beam of light. Okay, this is extraordinary beam of light. That's why you are able to see the color. You are able to see the light. But at the same time, you are able to see beautiful color. This color originates because of the interference of both ordinary and extraordinary beam of light. Now let us take some small other example which you use on day-to-day basis in your home or in your classrooms. Now, if you take scales or any geometrical items you have in your compass, these are nothing but polymers. Okay, they are called stretched or stretched polymers. If I take these scale, plastic scale, or for that matter, you take any plastic item. It can be plastic sheet or a scotch tape or whatsoever. If I take a scotch tape or a plastic item or a scale or whatsoever, which are plastic, they are nothing but the stretched polymers. If you put between the two cross polarizer, like anisotropic crystal, you will get to see the color, beautiful color. Not only light emerges, but also you'll get to see the color. Now I shall repeat the important point here. When you take an anisotropic crystal, put between the two cross polarizer, you will get to see the light would emerge. Not only light emerges out, but also there is a beautiful color. Light emerges because of the presence of extraordinary beam of light, and color is due to the interference of both the ordinary and extraordinary beam of light. That's how you will see. Now, if you take if you take other plastic items, I have taken here a disc cover. You can clearly see the beautiful color coming out of these plastic items. So here yet again the same thing holds good. You take any plastic item, it is nothing but a polymer. They are stressed or stretched. So when you take stretched polymer, put between the two cross polarizer, they'll show double refraction. Okay, but please note that in any of these cases, whether it's a crystal, anisotropic crystal, or plastic item, you do get to see the color, the light, emergence of light as well as color. It is because of the anisotropic property they have. Well, I will put it in a very simple manner. Crystals, especially anisotropic crystals, they do not flow, but they show birefringence. I shall repeat. Anisotropic crystals, they do not flow, but at the same time, they show what is known as double refraction or birefringence. Right. Now, let us try to understand the liquids. Before getting into details of this, let me recall once again. If you take anisotropic crystal, okay, what are the two important properties of anisotropic crystal? First one is that they do not flow. Second, they show double refraction or they show birefringence. Okay, they do not flow, they show birefringence. Please note down that. Please remember that. Now let us talk about liquids. Okay, in liquids, molecules are loosely held and diffuse randomly. Weak intramolecular attractive forces hold them together. They do not have position order. They do not have orientation order. They do not maintain their shape. Their flow cannot be compressed and not a birefringent. Now, if you try to recall the properties of a solids and compare it with the liquids, it's almost they're opposite. They do not have position order. Solids have position order. Liquids do not have position order. Solids have orientation order. Liquids do not have orientation order. They do not maintain their shape, but whereas liquid maintain their shape, they do not flow. Liquids flow, but whereas solids do not flow. These are the important properties of a given liquid. Okay. I shall just summarize what I said so far. Solids, they have orientation order, they have position order in 3 dimensions, they are birefringent, they do not flow. On the other hand, if you take liquids, no position order, no orientation order, not birefringent, and they are fluid, they are viscous. Now, liquid crystals are a state of matter that those exist between both solids and liquids. It means that they have some interesting properties, means they take some properties from the solid, they take some properties from the liquid, and Therefore, they show the properties of both the solids and liquids. In the sense, liquid crystal is a state of matter, is existing state of matter. You can call it as a fourth state of matter. They behave like a solids as well as liquids. Now, we have one important point I would like to recall is that when you take anisotropic crystal, when you put between the two cross polarizer, you will get to see the color. You can see the bright color, along with which you have a bright color in the sense it is the emergence of light and interference of the light, both ordinary beam of light and extraordinary beam of light. Now, if I take a liquid between the two cross polarizer, as I mentioned to you, they are not birefringent. Therefore, you will see the dark field of view. If you take anisotropic crystal, they do not flow, but they show birefringence. If you take liquid, they flow, but they do not show what is known as birefringence. Just simply remember, crystalline sample, they show birefringence. At the same time, they do not flow. Liquid samples, they flow, but they do not show birefringence. Now, this slide is very, very important as far as my presentation is concerned. Liquid crystal are the intermediate state between liquids and solids. Okay. Solids, they have orientation order, position order, they are birefringent, do not flow. Liquids, no positional order, no orientation order, not birefringent, they fluid and viscous. As I mentioned to you, I have been mentioning liquid crystal represents jet general state of matter. They exist between solids and liquids. Therefore, they should exhibit the properties of both solids and liquid. That is, they show orientation order, position order in one or two dimensions. They are birefringent and they are fluid and viscous. Please note that the first three properties are coming from the solids and other two properties are coming from the liquids. It means that liquid crystal at some point in time behave like a solid, at some point in time they behave like a liquid. I shall repeat, liquid crystal is yet another state of matter. They exist between both solid and liquid states of matter. Now, as I mentioned to you, if you go back to this slide, as I mentioned to you, if you take cross polarizer, between which if you put a crystal, you will get to see the light, not only the light, not only the emergence of light, but also beautiful color. This happens because anisotropic crystals have an ability to generate extraordinary beam of light. So therefore, you will get to see light as well as color when an anisotropic crystal is made to sit between the two cross polarizers. Now, if you take a liquid and put them under two cross polarizer, there is no light, but there is a fluidity. In anisotropic crystal, you will get to see light, but there is no flow. But in molten sample, that is in liquid state, there is no birefringent, but there is a flow. Okay. Now, if you take liquid crystal, what should happen? That's the interesting question now. Now, if you take liquid crystal and put them between the two cross polarizer, what should happen? There should be mobility. There should be mobility like liquids. At the same time, they should show what is known as double refraction or birefringence. Now, if I put liquid crystal, I shall repeat, if I put liquid crystal between the two cross polarizer, you should be able to see the fluidity or mobility as well as the birefringence. This is what is being shown here. You are able to see the picture or no? Somebody should respond to my question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kanistai. We can see transition from LC phase to liquid phase.
Yeah. So, no, this is not working. I think some problem. Okay. Can you see this? Okay, I think I have to go back. Now it's okay?
Yeah, we can see.
Not possible? Not happening?
No, yes, sir. You full blank ಆಯ್ತೀಗ ಈಗ ಬಂದಿದೆ.
Okay, fine.
Liquid crystals, we can see.
Okay. I'm so sorry about it. It's not playing, but I think I should be able to manage with this slide only. So now you have anisotropic crystal. Just I'm trying to, since it didn't work, I had to come back and show you what are liquid crystals. See, when you take a crystal, anisotropic crystal, put between them two cross polarizer, you will get to see light as well as the color. Okay, but they do not flow. Crystals do not flow. Okay, but if you take a liquid and put them between the two cross polarizer, you'll be able to see the fluidity but not the light. Now, liquid crystal being intermediate between those of solids and liquid, they should be able to show both fluidity and birefringence. I shall repeat: when you take liquid crystals between the two cross polarizer, put them between the two cross polarizer, what one should be able to see is the following: they flow like liquid. You should be able to see the fluidity. At the same time, they show birefringence or double refraction. If we talk about crystals show only the light. Light, solids show light, but there is no fluidity. But when you talk about liquid, there is no birefringence, but they are mobile. But if you take liquid crystal, it exhibits both. That is, they exhibit the birefringence or double refraction like those of crystals. At the same time, they move or they are fluid like those of liquid crystals. So that is the uniqueness of the liquid crystals. I would like you to look at how the molecules are organized within solids and liquids and liquid crystals. If you take a solid, the molecules are static. You are able to see the movement. All of you are able to see the movement. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see the movement.
Yeah. Okay. In solids, you can see that molecules are static, except thermal fluctuation. Nothing is happening. Now, if you go to liquid, okay, if you go to liquid, what happens is that the molecules are not static; they tumble in all possible directions. Now, if you come to intermediate state liquids, neither they are static nor they move like those of the molecules of liquids. You can see there is a movement, but that movement is ordered. Now, let me take the example of some examples of our common life, our day-to-day life. Now, if you go to Majestic, okay, you don't know who is going where. Okay, each and every individual, let's say that it represents an organic molecule or liquid crystal. You do not know a person, all the people who are there gathered, they do not know. We do not know where they are going, where they are coming. We do not know what are their plans. So they are scattered. Everywhere there, people are there and scattered. We don't know what's happening. Now, on the other hand, if you take the example of, so that represents liquid, okay? In liquids, molecules, they consider molecules and they spin around, they move around, they tumble in all possible directions. So that is the best example is for people who are present in the Majestic or any market or anything you take, okay? Bus stand, railway station, whatsoever. Now, if you take in order to represent what are liquid crystal, if you take a parade, jatra or whatever you want to say, a procession. In the procession, there is an order. There is some order. Please note that the people who have gathered Majestic, they are different from the people who are participating in procession. In procession, there is some order. People will be moving only one direction. So that represents liquid crystal. Whereas the people who are in Majestic or in bus stand or railway station, they represent liquid. So it means that liquid crystals have some order. Well, let me be very specific and technical. Liquid crystals. So far, about over 50 different liquid crystal species have been discovered. All of them necessarily possess what is known as orientation order. Okay, they have orientation order. All of them necessarily should have. If you want to consider a state of matter as a liquid crystal, it must have what is known as orientation order. In addition to orientation order, some of the mesophases do possess, some of the liquid crystal phases do possess what is known as position order in one or two dimensions only. But at the same time, they show what is known as birefringence. Okay, so these are the important properties. At the same time, they are fluids and viscous. So these are the important properties of liquid crystals. Okay. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not able to show you this. And then, okay, here is a slide that summarizes everything. Okay, liquid crystals. Liquid crystals, they represent a general state of matter. They occur, they exist between solids and liquid states of matter. They flow like liquids. They flow like liquids. At the same time, they show what is known as birefringence or double refraction. They are optically anisotropic. They have orientation order. They have position order. I shall reiterate on the two very important points that they flow like liquids. At the same time, they exhibit what is known as double refraction. Flow is a property of a liquid, whereas the birefringence or double refraction is a property of crystals, anisotropic crystals. So it's very simple that liquid crystals are, in a simplified manner, you can say that liquid crystals flow like liquids. At the same time, they show birefringence like those of anisotropic crystal. So that's a clear definition of a liquid crystal. Now, liquid crystal, as I mentioned to you earlier, can be categorized into two classes. Or before that, I kept on saying that liquid crystals are a unique state of matter. Unlike other states of matter, liquid crystals are called unique state of matter. Why is it so? It is very simple that they flow like liquids. At the same time, they show the birefringence like those of anisotropic crystals. Liquid crystal, the term was coined in 1888 by Professor Otto Lehmann, a German physicist. They can be called ordered fluids or birefringent liquids. They are purely formed. They are purely formed by or spontaneously formed by the self-assembly of some organic compounds. Please note that liquid crystals, they are formed by the spontaneous self-assembly of a special organic molecules or metal-containing organic molecules. As I mentioned to you, in your body, you have n number of liquid crystals. I shall come back to how much time I have. Hello, organizers, please. Hello.
Sir, another 10 minutes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, the term liquid crystal is coined way back in 1888 by Professor Otto Lehmann. As I kept on mentioning to you, you are a bundle of liquid crystals. Okay, so they are called lyotropic liquid crystals. So liquid crystals can be classified into two categories. One is lyotropic liquid crystal and thermotropic liquid. So you are composed of 10 to the power of 14 number of lyotropic liquid crystals. I shall repeat, we human beings are composed of as many as 10 to the power of 14 number of lyotropic liquid crystals in one way, in one form. I shall come back to that point later. So nowadays you are using, all of you are using mobiles. Okay, there is a calculator, or your wristwatch or television or whatsoever, computer, laptop computers, everywhere you find a panel. It's called liquid crystal panel or LCDs. Okay, very popular name is LCDs. So thermotropic liquid crystals are used to fabricate these devices, whereas we are made up of lyotropic liquid crystals. As far as technology is concerned, as LCD technology is concerned, we are using thermotropic liquid crystals. As far as our life is concerned, we are all made up of what are known as lyotropic liquid crystals. Right. Science of liquid crystals is a multidisciplinary one. It requires concepts and technique from chemistry, material science, solid state physics, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, and so on. However, the main contributors to the growth of science of liquid crystals are the following: synthetic and material chemist, physicist, and engineering. It is the physicist and engineer put together have made their devices. Whatever devices you use is because of the physicists and engineers. Okay, liquid crystals, unlike other states of matter, liquid crystal state of matter are most soft and delicate state of matter. They are extremely sensitive to external stimuli like light, sound, temperature, pressure, electrical field, magnetic field, and surface anchoring condition. This is a very, very important slide as far as I'm concerned. Liquid crystals are very soft. Okay, they respond to light, sound, temperature, and pressure. Suppose if you apply electrical field, they orient to the applied electrical field. They're extremely sensitive to external perturbation. Now, one one best example I would give: you take your mobile phone and go out and stand in the sun. You will not be able to see any image because your mobile phones are made up of liquid crystals. Now these liquid crystals, which are in the fluid state, they go to a fluid state. In the sense, they lose the birefringence. They go from liquid crystal state to liquid state. Therefore, you'll not be able to see any image in that small panel called liquid crystal panel, okay, or LCD. So they are very, very sensitive to all sorts of external stimuli. Okay, although they're extremely soft and delicate state of matter, they are vital, promising, and useful media for the living system and nature. It is hardly an exaggeration to say that in the chemistry of living systems, liquid crystal behavior is as important as the carbon-carbon bond. That is, living things could not have evolved without LCs. Okay, so life and life processes are based on LCs. For example, liquid crystal behavior occurs in DNA, protein, tissues, cell membranes, and so on. Now, here is a slide that is very interesting as far as the origin of our life is concerned. The Earth formed, as all of you are aware, the Earth formed about 4.54 billion years ago. A biogenesis took place. The natural process of life arising from the non-living matter, such as simple organic compounds, that they are nothing but liquid crystals. This is a very, very important information that you must know, that everything started life, the evolution of life on this earth in the form of unicellular system started with a liquid crystal. What is that? I think all of you are aware. I think most of you are interested in biology. If you know that in order that a cell has to be formed, what has to be formed first? In order that a cell has to be formed, cell membrane has to be formed. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that cell membrane, in our case we call plasma membrane, is liquid crystal. Means that cell membrane or the cell wall which we have in our cells serves, it acts as a liquid crystal. It is a liquid crystal, not act, it is a liquid crystal. At some point in time, it behaves like a liquid. At some point in time, it behaves like a solid. Okay. Now, if you know the important property of a liquid crystal, you will be able to appreciate what we have, whether in the form of lyotropic liquid crystal or in the form of the thermotropic liquid crystal. Now, with this background, let me show you what I said. Okay, cell membranes are formed first. As I mentioned to you, cell membranes are formed first, then organelle, then cell, tissue, organ system, and whole organism. Cell membrane is formed first means it means that liquid crystals are formed. As I told you, cell membrane. All living beings have cells, right? All of you agree with me that all living beings, whether it's a unicellular system, bicellular system, tricellular system, we're all multicellular system. All of us are composed of what are known as cells. And each and every cell, whether your cell or my cell, whosoever cell is very well protected by a cell wall called cell membrane. So, ladies and gentlemen, please note that cell membrane is a liquid crystal called lyotropic liquid. Okay. So, that's how life started. First, cell membrane is formed, then its content, a cell, tissue, organ system, and whole organism. To be very precise, life started with atom. Now we can go back to the atom. Okay, at the macroscopic level, atom and molecule, macromolecule, organelle, cell, tissue, organ, and whole organ system. Well, if you recall what your teacher says or what your doctor says or what your elderly people say, they ask you to keep drinking water now and then. Okay, in a day you are supposed to drink about 3 to 4 liters of water. Why it is so? If you drink good amount of water, your cell membrane, which is originally a liquid crystal, you have cell membrane, isn't it? You have all of your cell membrane, that is cell wall. The cell wall is basically a liquid crystal. If you drink good amount of water, you are maintaining the liquid crystallinity of your cell membrane, that is cell wall. If you do not drink water, now it loses, since there is no water, it tries to move towards solid. It means that as far as we are concerned, as far as I'm concerned, I'm as a scientist, I have my own way of thinking. As far as the liquid crystal science and technology is concerned, it's my opinion that aging is nothing but the continuous loss of water. Okay, when, for instance, newly born baby has 78% of water. When it grows old by 1 year, there is a loss of 13%, and when you grow further, there is a loss of about 5% of water. It means that when you are baby, when you are newly born, you have 78% of water. When you reach adult stage, you are losing 18% of water. It means that aging, in terms of science and technology of liquid crystal, it is nothing but aging is nothing but continuous loss of water. By some means, if you are able to hold the water, the babies have 78% of water. By some means, if you are able to hold the water, about 78% of water, I think we live long. Well, as all of you know, the cell membranes have about 100 trillion or 10 to the power of 14 number of cells, and cell size is 10 microgram, and mass is about 1 nanogram. Now, this is a cell, and this is the content of the cell. This is the cell membrane. As all of you know that cell, within the cell there is a water, outside cell there is a water. I think we all aware of the fact that our body is mostly made up of water. The vast majority of our body portion is being occupied by the water. Okay, so that is nothing but within the cell you have water. The water is present in our body in the following manner. The water is present within the cell and outside the cell. So therefore, we are filled with water. As I mentioned to you, we have 10 to the power of 40 number of cells. That's nothing but the tiny building blocks of our body. Their number is about 10 to the power of 14. They are nothing but covered by. They are nothing but the building blocks of our body, and each and every cell has a cell membrane. That cell membrane is nothing but a lipid bilayer structure. So this lipid bilayer structure is nothing but a fluid matrix, that is a liquid crystal. So cell membranes are known as allotropic liquid crystal. I would like to emphasize on the point that when you are born, your liquid crystal are your cell membranes, your cell wall are in perfect liquid crystal state. I shall repeat: when you are born, your cell membranes are fresh liquid crystal. Your cell walls are in the perfect liquid crystal state. But when you start growing old, they lose water, and now these allotropic liquid crystals, which are present in the form of lipid bilayer structure, they slowly start going towards the solid. That's how we finally we die one day. What does it mean? It means that as far as the science and technology is concerned, the aging is nothing but loss of water. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to survive for a long time with all the good health, one need to know how to drink water. Those who have the habit of drinking water, okay, about 2 to 3, minimum 2 and maximum 4 liters of water in a day, they survive very long time. We have many examples that those who have the habit of drinking water sip by sip over the day, they live very long, and they are mostly free from uh, health problems. It means that when you drink water, your lipid bilayer structure will get some water, and that therefore it exists in the liquid crystal state. If you know how to maintain the liquid crystal state of your cell membrane or cell wall, you live long. Okay. Now, as I said, cell serves as at some point in time it behaves like a solid. At some point in time, it behaves like a liquid. So, if I take a cell, you know the cell division. If cell cannot be divided unless it's a fluid, as you see here, the wall should be fluid. The cell plasma membrane should be fluid. Then only the division takes place. So this is the image that shows the division of the cell. This is possible if your cell membrane is like a rubber band, or it shows some elasticity. Okay. Here is one demonstration that an erythroid red blood cell that is grabbed at the opposite ends by a pair of colloidal particles held in optical traps. You can see that this can be stretched. The cell is dynamically stretched measuring its mechanical and electrical properties. So here, very important point to understand is that we are made up of n number of cells. Okay, each and every cell is protected by what is called a cell wall, and cell wall at some point in time it behaves like a liquid, but you can see the elasticity and it can be stretched. At the same time, it behaves like a solid. It means that it conducts the electricity. Here is the best example to show that the cell membranes which are composed or protected by cell walls. These cell walls are liquid crystals. So these liquid crystals, in the sense, at some point in time they act as a liquid. At some point in time they behave like a solid. Means they are stretchable and they show they respond to the applied electrical field. So this point is very clear, and I shall not go into the further details. I think I should be concluding my presentation because the time limit is there. And thank you for giving me an opportunity. In essence, I shall go back and summarize what I said so far. Okay, liquid crystal represents yet in a state of matter. Please listen to me carefully. This I'm going to conclude my presentation with these few words. Right from the school days, you have been made aware of the existence of different states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Today, you have come to know that there exists another state of matter called liquid crystal. These liquid crystals represent yet another state of matter. There are two types. One is lyotropic liquid crystal, another is thermotropic liquid crystal. Lyotropic liquid crystals constitute our life, whereas all your LCDs are made up of thermotropic liquid crystals. Liquid crystals are called a unique state of matter because they flow like liquids. At the same time, they exhibit what is known as birefringence. And if you are able to maintain the liquid crystallinity of your cell wall, then you live long. You are made up of n number of cells, and each and every cell is protected by cell wall. That cell wall or plasma membrane is liquid crystal. Those who have the habit of drinking water over the day, about 3 to 4 liters, they live long because they are maintaining the liquid crystallinity of the cell wall. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for a very informative and insightful talk on liquid crystals. Probably the students must be listening to liquid crystals for the first time. I'm sure the coming days they will be very much interested to. If somebody takes up research as a career, they will take up liquid crystals as their research topic. I'm sure many of them would be very happy to listen to a new topic like this, which will be of use to them in future. Sir, on behalf of KST and all the participants, we are very grateful to you, sir, for this wonderful presentation. Mr. Umesh, are there any questions?
No, sir, there are no questions in the chat box, sir.
Okay, how many participants are there now?
60.
Okay,
60,
fine.
sir, 60.
Okay, I will ask two questions. I request students to note down.
Yes. Sir, we also have to note down. Please tell us.
Yeah, you may have to note down. They're very simple questions.
Yes, sir. Please. Students, please note down the questions that sir tells now. You have to answer by tomorrow morning. Sir?
What are liquid crystals? What are liquid crystals? Describe. Number two,
yes.
What are liquid crystals? Describe.
Yes, sir.
It's a descriptive answer, okay?
Yes, sir.
This should be descriptive answer. I think I have mentioned all the properties of liquid crystals.
Sir,
They
yes,
should tell what are the liquid crystals. For example, liquid crystals represent another state of matter. They exist between solid and liquid state of matter, and what are their properties? Okay. The other question is,
yes, sir.
Mention the categories of liquid crystals.
Yes, sir.
How the lyotropic liquid crystals are related to our life. How lyotropic liquid crystals are related to
how liquid crystal?
how
Yes, sir.
lyotropic liquid crystals are
Yes, sir.
connected to our
Yes, sir.
lives. Our lives.
Yes, sir.
Fine, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We keep organizing offline physical meets also. I will
Fine.
be inviting you for a talk in our own
Sure.
campus.
Actually, it is very inconvenient because I don't know whether you're listening or not. And
Yes.
some of the experiments which I show generally, they are very interesting.
Right.
That I miss everything, but now I have started everything back. But very difficult for me to be online and say liquid crystals. They form. I mean, they are the basics of our life. If I don't demonstrate properly through some experiment, it wouldn't be that convincing to students. That's what
Our PG students will be having some PG special lecture series program. We'll
Sure.
organize one in chemistry. That time I will invite you for a talk on this.
Don't worry. You see, as far as we are concerned, Center for Nano and Soft Materials, especially I am concerned, we have about 15 different topics to talk. For example, invisibility and how these nanomaterials are made to mix with the liquid crystals, and we are getting soft nanomaterials, how they behave, how they show the properties of both, how and what way they are useful to human beings. All that I'll be talking about. And not only me, there are so many experts in my center. They can talk about liquid crystals, nanomaterials, soft nanocomposites, quantum dots, and so on. All the latest technology also can be spoken if you invite them.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks. I'll log off.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, once again.
ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಯಮಾಡಿ ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಒಳಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ. ಸರ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ 2 ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಾಮೂಲಿನಂತೆ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾಳೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ತಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋರ್ತೀನಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು, ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೆಷನ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋರಿಗೆ ಬೈಜೂಸ್ ಇಂದ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಪ್ ನ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಬೈಜೂಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತು, JEE ನೀಟ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ CET-ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುವಂತ ಪಠ್ಯ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸಗಳನ್ನ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಂಪನಿ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಆಪ್ ನೀಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.